My name's Josh Schroeder. I'm the Chief of Staff at CTI. So I previously worked in our clinical project management group for the last 9 years of my time at CTI. So I've worked on both cell and gene therapy trials during that tenure. What excites me most, especially on the gene therapy front, is that we are no longer treating but actually curing previously fatal rare diseases. I worked on one study and an indication called metachromatic leukodystrophy, or MLD, where using a lentiviral vector, the drug was approved by the FDA and EMA to essentially cure the rare disease. Additionally, last year, CTI worked in AADC deficiency, another rare disease where using an adeno-associated virus, another method where a manufactured gene created in a lab is introduced to a patient via a virus, which replaces the malfunctioning gene that they were born with, actually. So those are two programs, one of which I worked on. Again, both have been approved by the FDA and EMA and essentially cure what was previously a fatal rare disease. I would say the most rewarding part is just seeing the difference that you can make. On the cell therapy front, I started my career, and the very first study I worked on as an RA at CTI was in glioblastoma, which is a fairly deadly form of brain cancer. And unfortunately on that study, the results were not great. They were about what is typical standard of care for glioblastoma patients, where unfortunately they're given 12 or 15 months to live. But on the cell therapy front, now I think that's another area that's really exciting and rewarding for me, especially because using cell therapy process where, again, these are some of the worst forms of cancer that we have. Glioblastoma hasn't had any progress made in 20 or 30 years in its treatments, but when the cell therapy front, there's a real option here where we can actually use a process called apheresis, where we take a patient's cells out, alter them, and then the manufacturer cells eventually replace or essentially attack in a CAR T setting what are the cancerous cells. So I think what is the most rewarding for me is the fact that I've been able to see sort of the shift in focus to cell therapy trials. So even diseases, horrible forms of cancer like glioblastoma that previously patients had no hope, we hope that, in the future, using these cell therapy methods, they will have hope.